Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kinsei-Do Corner, our first new video podcast. So on this show, I want to sit down with athletes, coaches, and generally friends of fitness from Jakarta and around the world. And we talk about everything related to health and fitness. We will cover topics ranging from personal background stories, struggles, and humble beginnings in the fitness journeys, and also what health and fitness means to our people and what keeps them going. In our very first episode today, I'm honored to have Coach Tim from Bank Strength and Conditioning on the show. Hey, Tim. Tim is a CrossFit Level 2 trainer, gymnastics expert, and overall badass, as you can tell from his awesome beard. And I'm just super pumped to speak to him today. So let's get cracking. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for the idea. I never done that, and I think it's a pretty cool thing to do, considering the situation. So yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for having me.
That's cool. No. Thanks for coming on. So let's maybe start a bit about you and where your fitness journey or where your life journey started. So obviously you're not from Indonesia. Tell us where you're from. And
how can you say that? How can you tell? So no, so I'm from France, yeah, and you're gonna hear that from my accent. So my fitness journey started pretty late because I never really enjoy going to the conventional gym. So I would have say I've been in conventional gym like maybe 5 times in my life, but I always, and this since I was 5 years old, I always moved and do sports. So when I was younger, I started doing ice hockey. When I was 5 years old, my dad took me to a game, and I don't know, something in the violence of the game, I liked it. It was really tough and rough and fast, and so I don't know, I like that. So I did like 13 years of ice hockey, and so from 5 to 18, and at that time, at some stage, I did some roller skating, BMX, skating. I went skiing, snowboarding. I love all adrenaline sport like bungee jumping and skydiving. And a few years ago, like 10 years ago now, I started surfing while traveling. And my travel bring me back to France, and I was in withdrawal of sport because where I was living, I couldn't surf, and that's what I want to do at that time. And a friend of mine introduced me to CrossFit, and I started to go to the CrossFit gym. And twice a week becomes 3 times a week, becomes 4 times a week, before 5 times and 6, and sometimes 7. I got really addicted to the atmosphere and the different kind of exercise we could do. It was never boring, and always challenging. And yeah, there was always something I couldn't do. And I saw those guys doing, and I couldn't do it. I was like, oh, how am I going to do that? And I was staying after the class, trying to do that new skills, like, for example, pistols or, I don't know, muscle up and stuff like that. I think it was really cool. And I resumed my travel, put CrossFit on the side. And after all the years of traveling, I ended up in Indonesia and traveling a lot. And I got to Bali and start CrossFit in a regular basis again, and movement. Been introduced to movement in Bali as well with Guillaume, which is a French guy, really good mover and gymnastic guy as well. I really loved his program. And so I was doing like 5-6 times a week over there, and decided to do my level 1. And I came to Jakarta because 2 coaches, Aaron and Stuart, when Stuart was in Jakarta, came to Bali to coach, and I really liked the way they were coaching, and both of them were training and coaching out of Bangkok. So I say, okay, I'm gonna go there and learn from them, and that's how I ended up finally in Jakarta, getting a proposition of replacing coaches after doing a month of shadowing and training with them. They offered me to replace a couple of coaches for 2 weeks. And after when I did that, they proposed me to come back as a full-time job. So upon that, and I think it was a really good thing to do. From there, I just improving coaching, and I'm still improving every day. I'm still learning from other coaches, and but my journey took me. I'm doing a bit less CrossFit at the moment and more gymnastic because of the situation of the confinement. So I'm really lucky. I've got a good rooftop where I can train every afternoon, and I've got a good setup here. But I'm doing way more gymnastic and mobility at the moment, which I think suits me better than big heavy weights. I like the control of my body, so that's a good thing for me. Maybe I went overboard on the question, but yeah.
No, not at all. Thanks for sharing all of that. And well, there's a lot of points that I might want to pick up on. So maybe we'll start with ice hockey. So when you were playing ice hockey as a child, did you I assume you 13 years you must have played at a decent level in the end?
Yeah, I mean, when I end up, we end up in quarter final, semi-final of national champion. But the other teams were way better because some of them they have a campus where they actually train every day. We were training only twice a week, so our level were way under, but it was a really good experience. The good experience that I take out from that, it was just like the traveling with the hockey buddies, right? On the weekends, we were like, because obviously ice hockey is not like soccer where you can just go to the next area in your same city and play soccer against another team. There was just one hockey team in Strasbourg, where I'm from, in France, in the northeast. And the closest team was like an hour drive by bus. So we had to go drive 2 hours, 3-4 hours was further away, our area in France in the northeast. So yeah, going on weekends like that with a team was really cool. We make big bonds, and that's people that I still catch up when I go back to France with. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I remember team sports from growing up, and that's definitely some of the best memories right there. But why I said that, because of the why I asked about the high level of your sport. I mean, I'm sure you must have had conditioning and fitness training as part of ice hockey training then as well.
No, actually, no, man, because that was not we were not in a high level enough to do that. We were doing, like, in off season, we were having outside training, like some running, some gymnastic push-up, a lot of running. But when you're a kid, you're at school all day long. It's not like it was not a high level enough to have training every day, going to the gym, strength and conditioning thing. No, it was not.
Okay, I see. So
but we were having off season where we were doing a bit more conditioning because we couldn't have the ice the whole year.
Okay, so that means, I mean, like you said, you didn't step foot in a gym, in a regular gym for many times in your life.
Oh man, the first time I went to a gym, commercial gym, I was back to France. I was like, I don't know, maybe I was 30 years old. One of the first time.
Okay.
So I put my feet in the gym, but I never sit on my ass. On the weekend when I was younger, I was doing roller skating and BMX, going to the skate parks and ramps, doing some jump in the streets, and I've always been moving a lot, doing a lot of biking and skiing when I was younger as well. I work in a winter resort, and I did skiing almost every day for 5 months, skiing, snowboarding. So even if I was not in a gym, I always been doing sport all my life. Yeah. That never left me. I could say that I never ever done nothing for a full week, or even like 4 days. Like, I mean, sitting on my ass and watching TV or not doing a non-stop exercise. And when I'm saying exercise, I'm not necessarily talking about taking a dumbbells or doing squats, because there's many things to do apart from that, man. as long as you enjoy your exercise, what you do, it can be a team sport, it can do dancing. Dancing is a great way to move your body and to burn calories as well, but you don't want to see exercising just to a way to burn calories, but it's a way to express movement, right? Exercises.
Yeah,
For
for
me,
sure.
movement, and I'm talking about movement in a really wide aspect. I'm not talking about that new discipline what they call movement. I'm talking movement is the language of your body, right? It's like if you sit on your ass, it's like somebody could talk, but he was not doing it.
Yeah.
So, like for example, I'm losing my French because I'm not speaking in French. So if somebody sit on his ass too long, well, he loses the ability to use his body.
Totally.
And the movements is the language of the body. That's how I see it.
Totally. Could not agree more. Yeah.
If what you like is lifting heavy weights, well, lift heavy weights. If what you like is doing a team sport, well, do a team sport. I like to do every type of sport every now and then, but I wouldn't enjoy to just, for example, do tennis every week. That doesn't fit me. So everybody has to find what they like and do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to do something, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think everyone, when they see you move, you can tell that it's from many years of basically just learning and understanding how to move your body, not learning a specific sport, but just understanding your body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I start CrossFit. I was 30 years old when I started CrossFit, I think. But I've got a sweating now on the sun. Sorry. But for sure, I didn't. What I can do now, and I've been like focusing a lot on gymnastics and mobility lately, and I can see the results because I've been consistent almost every day, between 45 and an hour and a half, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and I really can see the difference. But it's not just those 2 last months, or those 2 last year or 3 years. It's been all my life. I moved, and when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in. I'm really grateful for that because where I am from, the backcountry, there is a lot of forest, and so I was like climbing trees and rocks and playing in the river, and I always been moving, and it's all this bring me where I am today. It's not just because I decided 3 years ago to go to the gym, I can do what I can do. No, I think it's a really, really long process. And the later you start, the harder it is.
Oh, for sure. But what you've done in the past will always come back to help you, even if it's a long time ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did actually when I was a kid. I forgot about that. I did gymnastics when I was a kid in a club. So I guess I've got some rest from that. I've got some muscle memory maybe from that.
Yeah, muscle memory, or just basically being used to. For many adults, as we see when we teach classes, just the idea of going overhead is such a foreign concept that they fear
people. Yes,
they fear that they might fall and injure themselves, or they feel that they don't have the strength to hold it, and all these things. And if you have that experience as a kid, it'll just come back to you, and you have no idea why it's so hard.
Just actually, there is a lot of stuff, a lot of limitation I noticed with some clients, and from what I've been learning and listening podcasts and listening far more experienced coaches than me, is sometimes it is not a strength issue, it is not a mobility issue. There is a mobility issue, but because your body doesn't know. Right? So you have to teach your brain how to do something. Sometimes it's not a strength problem, it's just your body doesn't know. Because it's never done it. Right? So it's just because using muscle is information from your brain to your muscle. and back and forth with feedbacks, right? And there's just along the way, the communication is broken between your muscle and your brain. And actually, what we call strength is just a problem of language between your brain and your muscle.
Yeah.
Because, as we said earlier, movement is a language of the body. So yeah,
Exactly.
if you haven't been using it, well, your brain can't speak properly to your muscle.
That's right. It'll take, but if you were able to speak that language in the past, it will come back to you. Whereas if you were not, if you're learning this language from scratch, then it's really hard and it takes a long time, especially as an adult.
Yeah, it takes longer time because when you're a kid, your brain is like a sponge and you're just like absorbing information, outside information, but as well like inside information for your body.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's come back to how your CrossFit journey started. So you said, obviously, so you played hockey until you were 18, then you traveled and you surfed for what seems like quite a while.
Skiing, and way further down the line, I started surfing and I traveled surfing overseas, and my travel stopped for a bit, went back to France, and I started CrossFit because I didn't have anything else.
Okay, and where was that? In Strasbourg?
That was in south of France, in Monaco. I was working in Monaco.
Okay, but you were not working in the fitness space like you are now.
No, I was actually for a really long time. I was in hospitality, and at that time I was a restaurant manager.
I see. Okay. Off topic, but do you know Yannick from? He's in Bali. He owns S2S. Well, he used to work with. He used to own S2S. He's also hospitality.
No, I don't know him.
Hospitality and level 1. I met him at the level 1. So also big into CrossFit. Anyway, so you did CrossFit for a few years in France, and then picked up your traveling again.
No, actually, I did. Unfortunately, I wish I knew it before. I discovered CrossFit 6 months before I went back traveling.
Okay.
So I did it 6 months intensive, and I wish I knew it like for those 2 years I was back in France, because my level would have been way better. But I started 6 months, and I went back traveling, because Monaco, as much as it can sound amazing for some people, when you live over there, it's really superficial. It was not for me. And I went back traveling, and I wanted to learn Spanish. So we went traveling to Mexico with my friend and his girlfriend. And I did a bit of CrossFit in Mexico during my trip. So basically I was like spending a month on the coast, surfing like crazy every day, living really like simple. So surfing every day for 5-6 hours, not in one go, but in 2 or 3 different sessions, and not in one go. But I was surfing a lot. I got so skinny at that time because I was surfing so much. And once a month, I was treating myself with a hotel room, cheap hotel room, because sometimes I was just camping on the beach, cheap hotel room, a hot meal, and cinema, CrossFit session in the city nearby I could go, and a McDonald's. That was what I was doing once a month. So during a year, I was doing CrossFit once a month.
Okay. So
sometimes twice, if I could go easy, right? So I really was on the side. My goal was to surf a lot and learn Spanish, which I did, was pretty cool. But I always, at that time, I was like following the CrossFit Games, following the CrossFit Open, the regional. I was really enjoying, like, even if I was surfing on the beach, I was like trying to connect to be able to see the CrossFit Games and all those things, because I think it's a really good show. I just really enjoy to see those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Such a shame that it's a lot different this year, obviously. But let's see. That's hardly one of the bigger problems the world has. All right. So, and then what made you come to Indonesia? Surfing.
Yeah. Indonesia is one of the best countries in the world to surf. It's really consistent. You've got swell all year round, and travel around Indonesia to surf as much as possible, from East Sumbawa to Sumatra, all the way in between. And at some stage I went to Bali, and every time I was going back to Bali, I was going CrossFit, right? And because that was kind of the only place where you could CrossFit back then. And now actually I did in Jakarta as well. I'm 6221 at that time when I was doing I was changing my passport. So I went to Jakarta and I went to 6221 before going south to go surfing. And I stayed in Bali at some stage. I went back to Bali because of a girl. So I stayed in Bali for a girl. And I stayed in Bali for a year and a half. And I was training every day. And my girlfriend back then, my partner back then, and I will thank her always because she was a life coach. And I was like thinking about like, what could I do when I went a bit back to France just before I went to live in Bali. I was thinking about going back to school to do some exercise science or something related to sports. And I went to Bali and she was a life coach and she helped me basically to make the leap and change my career and to become a coach. So she printed the L1, the book, the level 1, coach level 1 book. She printed and she said, here, that's your level 1 book. You have 3 months. There's a level 1 in Singapore. Study, do it. So yeah, start like that. And when I got my L1, I talked to Aaron when I met him in Jakarta. So Aaron Thompson from Bangkok as well. Great coach and friend. Great master athlete now, I'm going to say. He's a master athlete. And so I talked to him and I say, hey, I'm going to do my level 1. Could I come see you guys in Jakarta, in Bangkok? He said, yes, for sure, man. Pass your level 1 and we talk again. And that's what I did. I passed my level 1 and we talked. And I ended up in Jakarta, shadowing him and Stu and Naz as well. Stu's girlfriend, they're in Singapore now. They work for CrossFit Mobilis.
Yeah, I know
great coach. Stu is a great coach as well. And so I was shadowing them and training with them for a full month when I get to Jakarta. And I was living with Sam, 6221. Sam Godrich. I was living with him in his apartment during that month. That was great. It was a good time because it was like a good thing for me to get out a bit of Bali where, you know, I was trying to do a business ideas, but Bali is so holiday atmosphere that is really hard to get something done. While in Jakarta is more work related, right? So I was here for a month and learned a lot. Went back to Bali. And Scott, Anna, thanks a lot as well to Scott, Anna called me and say, hey, team, I've got 2 coaches that need to be replaced for a couple of weeks. Are you keen? I said, yeah, sure. I was about to swear. I said, yeah, sure. And went there 2 weeks. Great, but in the same time, you know, it was really intimidating to coach, you know. It was like coaching people.
Was that the first time that you really was that the first time that you actually coached your own class?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I did it actually when I was the first time I did my shadowing. I was shadowing as well in Bangkok North with Ron, and Ron one day just say, hey, why don't you coach? So Ron gave me my first opportunity to coach my first class. So that was really cool. And but after that, when I came back those 2 weeks, I was like just coaching every day. Right? I was still shadowing the classes with Aaron to learn more, to integrate more knowledge, to take more knowledges and way of talking to a classes, time management, to learn more. And I was coaching my classes as well.
That's cool.
But that was good. But you can see like at the beginning you're always late and on the time, and you always finish late and you're scared and your heart's pounding when you're about to start a class, and now you just coach and you used to it. It's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
It's not scary anymore.
Totally. Yeah.
It's good.
It's very good. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? First of all, you're nervous, but then time management is just completely out of the place, and you're not sure how to control your group, how to get them back on time, get them moving. And now it's like, it's I wouldn't say it's an autopilot, but it's definitely part of how your nature now. So you're now working full time as a coach. So
yes.
So you're employed by Benkel in Jakarta.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. That's cool. And
and I have a couple of a few private clients as well, which I work on one-on-one. Not ready at the moment because so I've got right now we work online with some clients. Other I'm doing remote coaching for them, and which I send them the program to their house. I've got a really good platform I work with, so they have all the videos, all the demo video, and I catch up with them on messages and try to talk to them once a month or once every 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, I do online coaching as well. What platform do you use?
I use True Coach.
True Coach. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's a really, really good one. It's a perfect tool for training, for coaching online.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean that's a nice switch. I don't know how much more time we have on this Zoom, but let's just switch to the last set of questions, perhaps. You mentioned online coaching, online training. Obviously, you guys have started the workout from the WOD from home class.
Yeah.
You're still doing that, right?
We're still doing that. It's great. I really like it because I get the chance to coach something that I haven't been coaching for a while, which is mobility. And I really enjoy it because I think it's really, really important for people to work on their mobility. And people are just focused on lifting heavy weight and running fast or doing really, really intense workout, which sometimes if you just do that is not really good for your body. You know, you have to balance out between strength, conditioning, intense conditioning, which totally two different things. Aerobic work, which is being able to be sustainable and so last a long time, and mobility, and everything is part of your body movement, right? And so right now I coach 2 classes, two days a week, mobility. And we share the week with the other coaches from Benkel. So Joe's gonna do more like some functional bodybuilding, and we try to adopt everything some you could do at home, right? With like a chair, a bench, whatever you have at home. And Thiago and Gabi, she's back in Brazil at the moment, but she's still doing the classes. Work on more intense, high intensity interval workout or interval training, not necessarily high intensity all the time. And I focus on the mobility part. So if everybody's following different coaches, they get something different every day.
Yeah.
They've got the whole range between strength, mobility, cardio, aerobic. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
So I think it's a good way to do it now because people won't work on mobility much when they are at the gym. They want to take a barbell, throwing barbell. I'm not gonna lie, it's really fun. I love throwing barbells around with friends, hearing that noise and being able to deadlift more than 100 kilos. There is this strength feeling behind it, which is really awesome to feel. But we forget to work on other things that are really important for our body that will help us to be less injured, right? And to be even stronger. Because mobility gets you stronger.
Yes, exactly.
It works. So mobility actually works on your range of motion, but not just in a passive way, in an active way. So you try to increase your range of motion, but you try also to increase the strength in the end range of motion, right?
Yeah,
so you have basically the mid range of motion.
Basically, improving your mobility allows you to get into better positions, and better positions make more efficient movement, and more efficient movement is stronger. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
So how's
So
the response? How's the uptake from the members? Like how many members
it's
are
pretty
doing it
good, man.
regularly?
People are pretty regular. Obviously, on the weekend, I guess it's still a family day, family time, so there's less people during the weekend. But we've got a really good response. People are always there in the morning. Some other people doing it at night because we have two classes a day, 7 o'clock in the morning and 4:45 at night. Um, and people are really consistent. I mean, and people are really consistent. It's really enjoyable. And we talk after why we're doing what and how people could improve something. And always try to, at the end of each class, to orientate people to, okay, we did that today. Maybe you should do it this way. You could do it this way next time to improve, or that's what you could work at home. Seeing that movement, I could say that you need to work on your hip mobility a bit more on your shoulder, or, I try to give 2 pointers to everybody at the end of the classes so they know where to go. And I try to work on progression from one week to the other, right?
So what's the main difference
So,
for you as a coach, coaching through a screen and coaching in person? What have you found is the most difficult or the most challenging part of that?
man, tactile cues. You can't touch people. I mean, it might sound weird, but tactile cues is touching people to correct them, and you can't do that online. You have to just verbal cues and visual cues, and it's harder to, and you always have a lagging of connection. It's challenging. Connection is, the signal is not always good. So it is challenging, but seeing people coming back, it's really rewarding for me as a coach. It means they enjoy it, regardless of the poor connections, and regardless of being home where it's easier to do nothing, regardless of having a schedule totally thrown off by the situation. People are keep going, coming, and keep training, and it is an inspiration for me. There is a lot of people saying we as coaches are an inspiration, but actually those guys inspire me a lot to keep going as well, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
try to improve, try to get better at, most of them, I know they want to be better at barbell work. We all want at some stage to want to have a better clean, heavier deadlift, snatches, beautiful movement. But talking with them, I think they understand it, and probably if they're coming back, they might have seen already results. Doing that mobility, I'm talking for me as my mobility classes, they already saw results that help them in the different movements, because some of them rented barbells and weights so they can keep working at home, and they probably noticed some change of positioning and movement pattern, and that help them to be more efficient. And yeah, it's great to see results. It's the best thing as a coach, and that I think you would agree with me, is to see people improving, and that's why we're doing it. It's just to see somebody get better along the journey, right? It's not going to be from one day to another day, but from 1 week to another week. And if it's not improving on weight, it's going to improve on quality of movement. It's going to improve off not going necessarily faster, but breathing better. And those things are really important, because we always think about going heavier, going faster. There's so much more thing we can talk about in improving. You do better movement. You need to rest less. You're breathing less hard. You're moving better. I think you feel less exhausted at the end of the workout while you're doing the same amount of work. This means you improved as well, your capacity and your conditioning. You get deeper in a squat. You have a more open chest in a handstand. I mean, all those things are proof that you're improving your position as well. And for me, the most important when we do exercise, I think it's quality of movement, because the quality of movements will make you be more efficient, use less energy, therefore you're going to be able to do more volumes, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you said it perfectly. Yeah. So essentially, right? I
like,
mean,
for
quality
example,
of movement. Go.
Sorry. For example, a couple of years ago, yeah, I think we did together the level 1 of gymnastic bodies.
Yes.
And seeing people working on gymnastic, let's say we work on handstand, we can stack up better our shoulder over our wrist. We are getting more efficient because everything stack up. So because we're doing a better movement, we can actually stay longer on our hands now, right? So because we can stay longer on our hands, we are getting stronger in that handstand position. Yeah. But how it become before? Did we get stronger to stay longer? No. We got a better position, so we work on quality of movement, on technique. Then we could do more volume, and that extra volume get us stronger.
Perfect. I think that's really a key thing. That let's leave it at that. Let's leave that as the takeaway from this conversation. So thank you, Tim, for your time. That was really awesome. I just want to.
Thank you very much. I might have. I'm sorry. I might have like go a bit in every direction, but
that's totally cool. I mean, I learned a lot about you, about your philosophy, and I hope anyone listening to this will find it as interesting as I did. So thanks a lot, and I wish you a nice holiday and a nice long weekend. And I'll see you when I'm back in Jakarta, man. Thank you, Tim.
I will see you back in Jakarta. Bye.
Thanks, man.